Activision, this is Dan Slott, writer of Amazing Spider-Man. I'm here to tell you that Christopher, Charles,
Ryan.
Christopher. I'm writing a cheat sheet. Christopher. I've already screwed up. Christopher, Charles, Ryan, Hamilton. Christopher, Charles,
Ryan.
Christopher, Charles, Ryan, Hamilton. Can't you just stick with 2 names? You gotta have 4. Okay, ready? Okay, take 2. Activision. This is Dan Slott, writer of Amazing Spider-Man. I'm here to tell you that Christopher Charles Ryan Hamilton is the biggest Spider-Man fan in kilos, width, height, volume, shape, just sponginess. This man, this myth, this legend is so spidery. He's so webs come out of orifices of this man. He bleeds 4-color comics. Put him in your game already! Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Slott.
Good.
Hey there, true believers. My name is Christopher Charles Ryan Hamilton, and I am the biggest Spider-Man fan there is. How and why, you ask? Well, because I simply just am. I have so much merchandise related to the web slinger, it's ridiculous. I have various toys, clothes, DVDs, video games, comic books, posters, etc. I also talk about Spider-Man almost all the time. And oftentimes I get into heated debates regarding old Webhead, and I'm almost always wearing something related to Spider-Man. Oftentimes when I'm out in the city, I look up at the rooftops and I imagine what it would be like to crawl up to the buildings and scale them like the old wall crawler, and to web swing across the rooftops at high speed. Oftentimes when I have bad feelings about something, I'll say my spider sense is tingling. Just like if I'm shocked by something, I'll say walloping web snappers. I sometimes also blame my problems on the typical Parker look, even though my last name isn't even Parker. I also used to be the guy on Here HQ known as Wolverine Uncaged. The same guy who also asked Josh Keaton to join the forums for Edge of Time to, interact with the fans. I'm also very geeky about Spider-Man to the point where I'll try and contact people involved with Spidey and ask them questions. People I've been able to contact in the past include Dan Slott, Josh Keaton, Dan Gilvezan, Stephen Blum, Brian Michael Bendis, and various artists who've drawn Spidey in the past. Speaking of artists, drawing Spidey is one of my favorite hobbies. And, to be quite perfectly honest, I'm, pretty decent if I do say so myself. Yeah. That's pretty sweet, right? Freehand. I've also worn my costume out in public numerous times. Specifically at my college campus and at the mall a few times. I just had to look out for security. Apparently they agree with Jameson's whole "Spider-Man is a menace" campaign. I mean, come on. Don't they know I'm friendly neighborhood and not angry back alley? One of the biggest reasons though why I'm such a huge Spidey fan is that I can relate to him. Heavily. Ever since the 2nd grade, I've been extremely picked on, teased, and bullied, especially in high school. And the main reason why I got picked on was for being such a huge Spidey nerd. I've gotten picked on for being, a nerd about most of my studies, but the main thing was always Spider-Man. But I decided to keep pressing on, and not let it affect me so much. Because no matter how dire the situation got for Spidey, he just cracked a joke on his enemies and kept moving on. He just kept on fighting. He never gave up. His bravery inspired me to survive the years of bullying I endured, and to just quit back snarky remarks at my rogues gallery of bullies, and to just move on. Another thing that I've learned from Spider-Man that many of us that are hardcore fans have learned is that with great power, there must also come great responsibility. And I try to live by that every day and apply it to my life. Although, admittedly, sometimes I have to relearn that lesson and reapply it to my life. Specifically when I forget to take out the trash. Or don't finish a homework assignment. Or don't go to bed at a very good time. Or don't spend enough time with Gwen Stacy. Yeah. Sometimes I need a reminder that with great power comes great responsibility. But it's all good.